Welcome to Comic Movie 10, where you get insight into everything comic book movies and television related in 10 minutes or less. I'm Joe Kane.
And I'm Dan Kane. No
relation.
Hey, don't forget to subscribe and share and keep up with us at hecklerkane.com. On this episode, we're going to be talking about S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 5 and did they do time travel correctly?
Yeah, time travel is a big thing that's been happening in a couple different series. You have The Flash that's been doing time travel.
Yes.
And they're doing it very differently.
Yeah.
As opposed to what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did. They had one incident where they went into the future and they went through their process and came back to their timeline.
Right. They came back. Basically, was there loopholes going on?
Well, that's the thing that we need to ask. Is there loopholes, or are they changing the future that's going on?
Right.
Or are they on this inevitable crash line to the future regardless?
Right. Well, it would seem that they fixed where the future was going.
Yeah. Well, we were under the assumption that Daisy was the person who ripped the planet apart.
Yeah.
However, due to her knowledge, I guess, of the future,
Right.
she was the one that ended up saving the planet from being ripped apart, which obviously was not her problem. It wasn't her that did it.
Right.
And if she had not gone back, they took that one piece where she was annoyed that they brought her back because she would be the problem that ripped the planet apart.
Right, and she wound up being the savior.
Yeah, instead of being the destroyer of worlds, she was the savior of Earth.
Savior of Earth, and basically it was Talbot.
Yeah.
General Talbot that became what would be the destroyer of worlds.
Yeah, Talbot, he posed himself as an ally, and then he posed himself as an enemy, and then he posed himself as an ally again.
Right.
So there were lots of flip-flops throughout this run, this season.
Yeah.
When we look at this, we have to ask that one major question. Did this time travel season? The season was all about the time travel, about taking them forward to the future, to many years in the future where the Earth is already destroyed, coming back and trying to fix the problems that they saw in the future because of what they saw.
Right.
Now, did that happen?
Yes.
Okay.
For now.
For now.
I mean, they fixed the problem. Like we said, Daisy saved the Earth in the time being. There was a couple other things that went on. There was, some people that weren't in the future.
Yes.
Were alive during the season. You had the whole thing with basically she saved the world by taking the centipede serum that supposedly was given to Coulson to save his life.
Yeah, the centipede serum from previous season that was on the Hydra guy who now all of a sudden they got a hold of to be able to save his life.
Right, from season 1. And so basically they changed that. That was the whole thing that Yo-Yo was worried about. Mm-hmm. She loves Coulson, but we were told all along trying to save him is what's going to be the problem.
So that initial thing that was foreshadowed, if they had saved Coulson, they wouldn't have saved the world.
Right.
So by not saving him, he sacrificed himself because of that piece of knowledge, which he didn't have until almost too late.
Almost too late.
Yeah.
And he could have had it if he wanted. They were going to give it to him, and he refused to take it.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a cool point to bring up, is that, he, because of the actions that he took, he was able to save the Earth by giving Daisy, to give Daisy the serum to inject herself with to be able to defeat Talbot at the end.
Which it seems she was even reluctant to do, right until the moment that she felt like she had no choice.
Yes, exactly.
But she made the choice, and so.
Well, let's talk about the ramifications of what happened now after that point. She saves the Earth. The people that were supposed to die, like Mack was supposed to die.
Right.
He didn't die. However, in the shift of him not dying, in that we now lost Fitz. Okay, which wasn't supposed to happen.
It wasn't supposed to happen. There was the character Deke, who we found out was the grandson of Fitz and Gemma.
Yeah, and also we saved Robin's mother.
Yes.
Which I don't know her name because she's just Robin's mother.
She's Robin's mother. Her and Mack at the same time.
Yes.
They went up into.
Mack went to save her.
Right.
Successfully, which wasn't successful in the alternate timeline. Now,
but they followed them because it clicked. They don't make it to the future.
Yes.
So we need to go follow them and save them, which they do. They successfully do. Was Coulson went after them,
Yep.
and May.
And May, and unfortunately lost Fitz in the process. But that clinched a couple things and left a couple of questions. Now these are loopholes as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, we had the discussion about this. So Fitz dies, but you're led to believe at the end of the episode that when he froze himself in the beginning of the season
Yeah.
to get to the future, they made it that okay, that other Fitz is still out there
And still frozen.
and still frozen, and he could be brought back, and they didn't lose Fitz.
But you know, it's funny because that was never addressed. That was never talked about until that immediate point where they were all celebrating at the end, and it was kind of like a head scratcher. Like, why are they celebrating? They just lost all this. Coulson's about to die. Everything is just falling apart, and they're celebrating.
They're celebrating, and that was Coulson trying to be a leader, but you don't know it. You're almost like,
Yeah.
he wouldn't be that way if Fitz was gone.
Exactly.
But
He
you can
was-
accept that he's okay. It's me. You guys are okay. But you're wondering about Fitz. But my biggest question as far as loopholes go is that situation surrounding him being frozen. He wasn't taken to the future with the rest of them.
No, but he's in the process of taking the long way round at this point, I think.
Right. But what keeps going through my head is that there is no other Fitz. He is the one that was frozen. He came out on the other end. He came back with them. How is there one frozen?
Okay, so well, because he had climbed into that cryogenic chamber, we'll say for lack of better words, previous to where they are now.
Right.
So he's in there on his long trip round right now. But because he's on this long trip round, he makes it through the trip, makes it back in time, and that's where he is now, and that's where he died. So he's out there in space with the alien Evox.
That's
Enoch. Sorry.
Yes.
Put it in the comments if I messed that name up. I think it's Enoch.
I think it is.
He's
Yes.
with Enoch out in space, frozen
Right.
at this point in time. So that leaves that loophole open to say, hey, we can continue on and go find Fitz, and everything will be hunky dory.
Right.
Which also leads the question of what happened to Deke. And we weren't going to talk about Deke because it was just one of those things that was out there. In the comments, please let us know what you think happened to Deke, because he didn't vanish. They didn't show a vanishing. And he just wasn't there at the end.
Yeah.
So did he travel somewhere? He said he was going to go out and see the world. Did that happen? Is he now in this timeline? Did he go back to his original timeline? We don't know.
Did he disappear?
We don't know. So that leaves that question opened because it is a weird sort of timeline thing that's going on there. So the question is, I'm posing this out to our audience. Like, what happened to Deke? What do we think happened to Deke?
Maybe he disappeared when Thanos snapped his finger.
That's one theory. The good news is that they had tied everything up with a bow. They hadn't been picked up for a following season by the time this had aired and shot.
Yeah, you could tell.
And then
seemed everything was like a series finale from Coulson and May situation.
they
at
didn't
the
leave
end.
it. Most other seasons they left a cliffhanger. They left a cliffhanger where you're going, oh my god, I have to tune in for next time.
Right.
They tied everything up really nicely, and I mean, putting Coulson in Tahiti with May was that happy love story that happens at the end of a movie where you're going, oh, this was what it was supposed to be, but that shouldn't happen in a series that's continuing on.
Right.
So
No, especially when the beginning of the whole thing is him coming back to life, and he thought he was in Tahiti that whole time.
Yes. So that was a nice little touch that they did. So if you think about it, if this was it, that would have been a great solid ending. Okay, leaving a couple of questions in the air about the time travel and the timelines.
Right.
However, it gave enough that it was consolidating ending. Now the good news is that it was picked up for a 6th season.
Yes.
Which is great. And, I was tweeting out there about this. Congratulations to you guys at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because that's an awesome thing that we're looking forward, and the fans are looking forward to seeing more of you guys out there doing this.
It's something that I love because it's original in the fact that it's tied into the Marvel universe with everything that's going on in the movies. the mention of Thanos, and they've done that all along. And that may be the reason why that's been my favorite superhero show on TV. We love bringing you these episodes, and we need your help to keep them coming.
Please don't forget to share and subscribe, and keep up with us at hecklerkane.com.